Bienvenidos chicos al canal de Canary Juegos y aquí estamos con los Horizon y nos habíamos quedado en la parte de que teníamos que encontrar ya el templo, donde está ubicado el templo y el artefacto que necesitamos para que la soldado que nos está persiguiendo pues lo pueda encontrar antes que nosotros. Así que vamos allá. Espero que se diviertan y vamos a ir poco a poco averiguando cosillas. Hemos llegado y no nos contesta nadie, así que vamos a mirar por los alrededores.
It's a tree. It's a big tree. Uh, there are leaves on it? I don't know. I loved climbing trees when I was a boy. The taller, the better. Nowadays, I tend to only do it when I have to. Like when I'm being chased. Or when I'm bored.
Cuando estoy aburrido.
A bamboo pole. Why is it every time I see one of these things, I feel like something ridiculous is about to happen? I'll take that cloth with me too.
¿Esto del camino qué significa?
I need to stay here and look for the key artifact.
Vale. A ver, tenemos
An old tattered
un
cloth.
traporapiento.
A hollow bamboo pole. Are these things just following me around?
Y el artefacto, ¿no? Vale, pues nada, seguimos buscando cosillas. Sangre.
Feathers? Blood? It's clear what happened here. Some huge winged monster had a nosebleed.
Ahí debajo de una caseta hay un animal.
One of the two. Chicken feathers. A man can never have enough feathers.
Vamos a ir cogiendo las cosillas.
It's dried up in the heat.
Se ha secado con el calor. Vale, con esto no sale.
The blood dried up hours ago. I can't soak it up.
Vale, tenemos que cogerla con alguna cosa. Las plumas van por aquí, van por aquí. Nada. Ok, vamos a ver si...
I'm sure the chicken that shed these feathers is in a better place now.
Vale. Jarra de arcilla y cesta.
There's a broken jug lying here.
¿La cogemos?
The jug's broken, but I could still use it as a container.
Vale. Cesta.
This basket's seen better days.
Trozo de cerámica. Todo lo que podamos lo cogemos para ir después descartando
A
cosas.
few sharp-edged pottery shards.
Dados.
An empty, tattered basket. Oh no, I stand corrected. There are some stones in here. Fantastic. Two smooth, sparkling stones. They look rather valuable.
Vale. Vamos a ir descartando cosillas.
The basket's already broken, so I might as well finish cutting it up. I've dismembered the entire thing. All that's left are these thin sticks of wood and the hemp stitching. Thin wooden sticks.
Vale. Yo
A
todo lo voy a
long
ver.
cord.
No se ve.
I can tie one of the pottery shards to one of the sticks.
Una lanza, ¿no?
A sharp pottery shard on a thin wooden stick.
Una lanza, sí. Y esto... Por ahora nada. Y la lanza no creo que sirve para nada. Así, pluma.
Right. I'll use a few fibers from the hemp cord to make fletching for the dart.
Es un dardo, ¿eh?
A dart with all the trimmings. Arrowhead, shaft and feathers.
Lo utilizaremos para algo que ahora mismo no... Así.
I could probably
Es para
manufacture an
soplar, ¿no? Y
operational
que
blow gun.
Sí, sí.
The
El
dart
típico
looks like it'll fly
soplete
straight,
para tirar
but
un
I've
dardo.
seen one little thing.
Pero me falta algo. Algo para soplar, ¿no? Supongo. Vale, vamos a ir investigando. ¿Qué hay?
There are some chopped logs lying in the fireplace.
Troncos partidos.
Not much going on. Not much
No
going
tiene
on.
mucha vida, vale. Será para hacer fuego, ¿no? Significa. Aquí no podemos. Aquí tampoco. Aquí tampoco. Es para hacer fuego seguramente, chicos, seguro. Árbol grande, y tampoco creo que sea nada aquí. Este tampoco. Es para descartar, ¿vale?
There are some reeds lying here. Looks like the villagers use them to thatch their huts. A bundle of dry reeds.
¿Es para la hoguera? Sí.
They should go up nicely.
Pero ahora necesitamos fuego, que serán las piedras, ¿no? Ah, pues no.
I've nestled the reeds in amongst the
Pues
firewood.
necesitamos algo para... me supongo, ¿no? Que haga algo... No creo que necesite más nada la hoguera. Vale, a ver, por aquí.
What is that?
Una oveja,
It's a small goat.
una cabra.
It appears to be hiding underneath the hut. Well, no, it's definitely hiding underneath the hut. I can see it from here.
Vale, no le podemos hacer nada a la cabra para que salga, ¿no? Una piedra. No. Este tampoco. Tampoco. Ordenar la aldea.
I'll just take a short wander into the jungle. Maybe the villagers are out foraging or whatever it is villagers do.
Hey, you there! Where do you think you are going?
Christ! You frightened the life out of me! What the hell are you doing hiding in there?
Get away from the edge of the jungle. Come here.
What's wrong?
Don't ask, just do what I say.
Have I done something wrong? Sorry, I didn't mean to sneak around. I just wasn't sure where everyone had got to.
There's a man-eater about.
A what?
Doesn't anything strike you as strange around here?
Well, yes.
He came into the village last night while we were sleeping.
Who?
The man-eater. Listen to me. The beast is still out there. I can feel it in my bones.
And you're the only survivor?
No, during these months, only women, children, and old people live in the village. The young men work on the tea plantations. When we came, there was no one here to protect us. Those who could walk packed their things and left this morning.
What sort of animal are we talking about here? I'm, something of an expert.
A tiger, what else?
A tiger?
It was no normal tiger, it was a man-eater. Tigers normally avoid settlements. They hunt in the jungle. But now and again, a few of the particularly hungry ones stray into the villages. I remember the old stories from my childhood. When a man-eater has picked out a village, he stalks it for days until he can strike again.
When you put it like that, it does sound kind of scary. But I have a very important task. And I'm looking for someone who can help me.
What brings you here, stranger?
I'm looking for an old monastery. Or a temple. Do you know anywhere around here that fits the description?
As a matter of fact, there is an old temple nearby.
Great. How do I get there? Could you show me?
You may have no instinct for survival, stranger, but I wish to retain what is left of my life. I cannot leave the village until the man-eater is dealt with.
Okay. Tell you what. I'll have a look around and think of something. If I deal with the tiger, will you lead me to the temple?
Take my word for it, stranger.
Great. It's a deal.
Be careful out there.
Pues vale, vamos porque hay un devorahombres por ahí.
There's thick jungle in every direction, save for a small trail leading southwest.
Nosotros estamos aquí, ¿no? En la aldea. Ubicación desconocida. Jungla. ¿Dónde vamos? ¿Por la jungla o por aquí?
I'll follow the path leading out of the village so I don't get lost. Let's see where it leads to.
Vale. Hemos ido ahí que no sabemos lo que va. Un avión.
What is that sound? Christ, there really is a tiger out there. I never knew they sounded like that. Thinking about it, I'm not a vet, but this guy might be injured. No doubt he'd still eat me given half a chance. I should stay out of his way.
Será mejor que no me acerque.
Salad. All that's missing is a thick, juicy, medium rare ribeye and some chips. Oh, the salad.
Tenemos
Pleasant
hierbas.
spicy odor. Might actually taste good. Christ, when was the last time I ate?
Vale, vamos a ver. ¿Podemos combinar con algo? Por ahora no. Vale.
A thick vine. It's pretty thick. I can't just pull it down.
Aquí con no, con lo que podemos cortar con este tampoco. Con las piedras tampoco, con el jarrón supongo que tampoco. Vale, por ahora nada.
Ugh. Leeches, dysentery, mud. Not very enticing. I've seen a worryingly large number of plane wrecks in the last week. At least this one wasn't my fault. As far as I know. The tiger's still back there. I probably shouldn't do anything to attract his attention. That includes climbing trees. That's the man-eating tiger I'm supposed to be dealing with. It sounds like it's in pain. Cats. Bloody things have been following me around ever since Hong Kong. They just keep getting bigger. But seriously, what am I going to do once I've got his attention? Other than feed him my innards.
Vale. Esto aquí no puedo hacer nada. Vamos a ver si nos falta algo.
Ugh.
Vale, esto ya lo hemos dicho. Yo creo que ya no nos falta nada. Todo el árbol, ¿no? Sí. Vale, pues hay champiñones.
A clump of wild mushrooms. I don't know anything about mushrooms, but that's no reason not to pick them. If they taste foul, I can just throw them away. Before I make a stew out of them, I should probably ask an expert if they're even edible.
Vale, vámonos. Y vámonos, podemos ir. Pantano. Jungla.
It looks pretty impenetrable. I'd need a guide to find my way through. I think I'll stay on the path for the time being.
Vamos a ver.
Hello?
Yes? Any luck in hunting the tiger?
I found these mushrooms in the jungle. Are they edible?
I would only eat them if you have sleeping problems. These mushrooms contain a natural sedative.
Bien,
We
un
use
sedante
them to
natural,
treat
vale.
minor injuries. But I have heard of a Brahmin who performs operations on injured animals and sedates them with the poison from these mushrooms during the operations.
Interesting.
So you just chuck them down the creature's throat?
No, the sedative must get into the bloodstream. The mushrooms are cooked and the juice that escapes is then injected. It requires a bit of experience to get the dosage right. Too much of the stuff could knock out a huge water buffalo, never mind a small pet.
No problem. Caution is my middle name. I found these stones in the village square. I don't suppose they're, valuable by any chance?
No. These are flint stones.
Pedernales,
Keep
¿eh?
them by all means.
Oh, well, thanks anyway. Yes, I saw the tiger. You're right. He's still lurking about.
Told you so.
I think I know why it came into the village last night as well. He looks injured. He's out in the swamp making sad noises. Would that explain why he's acting so aggressively?
Quite possibly. But regardless, I am staying in my hut. And don't go getting any wild ideas yourself.
But I promised to help.
As you please. Is there anything else?
Entonces lo quería calmar el miedo que le tiene al tigre.
Is there any chance I can convince you to come out for just 10 minutes? The tiger's out in the swamps. I don't think he really poses a threat.
I forgot I was the tourist and you were the local. Believe me, it poses a threat.
All right, all right. I'm on it. I'll see what I can do.
Good luck.
Vale.
2 pieces of flint. Used
Vale,
to
ahora
start
sí prendemos el
fires.
fuego, chicos.
The old man said that you can extract a natural sedative from these mushrooms by boiling them.
Vale. Vamos a hacer la hoguera.
The reeds caught. The logs shouldn't be far behind. If I've understood the old man correctly, these need to be boiled,
Hay que cocerlos, vale.
not char-grilled. In you go.
Están dentro. Ahora aquí.
If the old guy is telling the truth, I can boil these mushrooms into some kind of natural sedative. That was quick. There's a dark sap oozing out.
¿Dónde lo ponemos? Aquí. No.
Let's get this off the fire without burning my hands. There's a thick purple residue left over from the stewed mushrooms. It's supposed to be a natural
Vale, con esto
sedative.
podemos sedar al tigre.
I'll dip the tip in the homemade tranquilizer.
Vale, y ahora nos falta, creo yo, esto con esto.
Voila! A perfect tranquilizer.
Pues ya lo tenemos, creo. Ya lo tenemos.
Loaded and ready to go. Wish I'd had one of these when
Qué
Kim was
cabrón.
around.
Pues vamos a por el tigre o algo así. Vamos a ver si podemos...
This should put the tiger out of action for a while. I've not exactly got the best shot, though. I could hide behind this tree and lure him over. But if he doesn't cross the water, he'll be on the opposite side of the tree to me, and if he comes to the shore, he'll round the trunk and wind up about 3 feet from my nose. If the sedative doesn't work, I'll have about 500 pounds of furry death on my hands. I'll have to lead him somewhere else and set up a distraction so he doesn't, eat me or anything. I might give this a bit more thought.
Una trampa. Una trampa.
A long cord.
Por otro lado. Vale, por aquí no nos funciona esto. La jarra, no sé para qué nos servirá ahora. Ay,
The nice thing about being behind the tree is that the man eating tiger of death can't actually see
vale, no
you.
me puedo ver, debe ser una trampa. Mm, mm. ¿Aquí? Voy a ver si aquí puedo.
This should put the tiger out of action for a while. I've not exactly got the best shot though. I could hide behind this tree. I think
Vale,
I'll have to. I might.
tampoco puedo. ¿Y aquí? ¿Aquí me ven?
The nice thing about being behind the
Vale,
tree.
sí. Necesito hacer algo, chico. Ah, mira, para. Vale, ¿cómo la corto?
It's pretty thick.
¿Cómo la puedo arrancar? El trapo creo que no. Me falta algo. Vale. Tenemos que encontrar cosillas, chicos. Lo grande. Aquí no hemos hecho más nada, la verdad.
I loved climbing trees when I was a boy. Nowadays,
Ok, a ver qué pasa aquí. Manojos. ¿Lo cogemos más o qué? Podemos poner un manojo de juncos y con hierba y que sea como una trampa para que el tigre... No sé.
ouch.
No creo que... Esto ya no lo podemos poner, esto tampoco.
To what end again?
Pues no, para nada. Esto tampoco. Esto tampoco. Vamos a ver cómo podremos... ¿Y lo de la cabra? ¿Es verdad? ¿Y la cabra? ¿A la cabra? ¿Hierbas? Sí, hierba. No me acordaba que estaba la cabra aquí.
He looks hungry. Goats eat green things, don't they? Okay, little guy. Fancy an adventure?
¿Tenemos la cabra?
It's a goat. There's a goat in my pocket. Don't ask me
Madre
how
mía, la cabra la vamos a
or
poner
more
de trampa
pertinently
por el
why.
tigre, seguro. Madre mía. Vamos a ver,
I'll tie a
amarrarla.
piece of the cord around the goat's neck, so it doesn't run off before I'm done with it. I've tied a leash round its neck.
Vale, y ahora nos la llevamos porque nos vamos a ir con el tigre, claramente. Pobre cabrita, tío.
He does look hungry. What am I saying? I couldn't do that to my only friend. Borrowing from the gods, teasing sheep, stealing just about anything I can lay my hands on. Fine. But I am not going to feed this goat to a tiger. Now, bait, that's an entirely different issue.
Ahora,
Might be I can use him as some kind of decoy.
por eso no podemos... Una trampa. Es una trampa maldita. Vale, podemos ponerle... Yo pensaba ponerle algo aquí o amarrarla aquí al árbol. Cuando estamos aquí, pero no me dejan. Así que procedamos primero.
This should put the tiger out of... I've not exactly got them. I could hide behind this tree, and if he comes to the shore, I'll have to lead him somewhere else and set up a... I might give this a bit...
Vale, pues hay que de alguna manera de que la cabrita esté en algún lado. Voy a preguntarle a ese hombre a ver si me dice algo.
Hello?
Yes. Any news?
No, not yet. I just wanted to check you were okay.
I am okay. I am safe in here.
Good. Then I'll get going.
Voy a ir tranquilo y tal. Manchas de sangre. No creo. Ah, manchas de sangre. Podríamos... que oliera algo de sangre o algo así. Ah, pero que tenía que mojarse, ¿no? El trapo.
The blood dried up hours ago. I can't soak it up.
Vale, no puedo mojarla. Tengo que mojar el trapo. Voy a ver si con el trapo lo puedo mojar aquí. No, no puedo mojar el trapo aquí en el agua. Y en el fuego tampoco.
I'll tie him up here.
He atado la cabra aquí, ¿vale? Porque lo único que podía hacer con la cabra.
You're not bait. You're just a distraction.
Vale, ¿y ahora qué hacemos? ¿Le damos a la cabra con algo? Le falta el trapo, seguro. Es una distracción.
Billy looks to be doing okay. He seems to have calmed down at any rate. Wait till he sees who's coming round the corner looking for lunch.
Ay, Dios. Nos tiene que distraer.
Okay, preparations are in place.
Yo lo he preparado todo, vale, ya está.
Lure the tiger into the village, then hide behind the trees.
Ah, detrás del árbol
while
aquel,
the
no de este
tiger's busy
árbol,
with
sino
the
del
bed.
otro.
I should
Vale,
have
vale,
just
vale.
enough time to hit him with the dart. Let's hope the sedative works. For my sake, as well as the goats.
Buah. Pobre cabra, tío.
Do or die. Only one shot at this.
Concéntrate.
Concentrate.
Tú en el momento, ¿eh?
Have you shot it?
No, I've just sedated it.
Sedated? And what happens when it wakes up?
Look, he's injured. There's a nail stuck in his front paw.
Ah, you are correct. He has obviously fallen into a trap.
You set up traps to piss these guys off.
No, no. Many farmers in this area protect their fields and plantations from all sorts of animals with spiked traps such as these. If a tiger gets injured by such a trap, it cannot hunt in its usual way.
And it gets angry.
It begins to look for easier prey.
Chickens, goats, people.
Exacto.
Exactly.
Okay, let's pull the nail out. Then we can take him out into the jungle and hopefully he'll wake up and wander back to his natural habitat.
This could work. I extend my thanks and the thanks of the entire village to you, stranger.
You know, thanks are great and all, but don't forget our deal. Let me take a look at this guy's foot. You find something we can use to move him.
Okay. I'll fetch a cart, and we can take it to the other side of the valley.
2 horas más tarde.
Okay, we're done.
Then I will lead you to the old temple, as promised. Follow me.
Follow me.
This is it.
Here? But I don't see a temple.
Behind me in the lagoon.
What do you mean in the lagoon?
According to records, there was a narrow valley here in which a temple stood until a few hundred years ago. One day, after a heavy storm, the valley was flooded along with the temple. Since this day, everything that
Bajo el
remains
agua,
of the
guau.
temple is under the surface of the water. Only this statue, standing on the roof of the temple, bears witness to what lies beneath.
Do you think anything's still intact down there?
I cannot swim, how would I know?
Okay. Well, thanks for your help.
It was no problem, stranger. I had better make my way to the next village to tell the women that the tiger is no longer a danger. Would you care to accompany me?
Women, you say? No, I really ought to get back to saving the world. Thank you, though.
As you wish. Good luck.
I usually need it.
Todo tranquilote, ¿eh? El hombre. Vale. Pues vamos a ver lo que hay por aquí, chicos.
My guide said this lagoon was formed a few centuries ago, when a storm tide flooded the valley here. Perhaps some of the temple's still intact. I've got to check it out. At least the water's nice and warm. You know, it all started innocently enough. Flies. Nothing dangerous about
Y ahora
flies.
tiburones, madre mía.
Then there was the cat. Then the sheep. The tiger. Now sharks. Bloody sharks. I'd better steer clear of him. At least the temple looks intact. I'd better head back to the shore before he spots me. Okay. I have to get rid of that shark if I'm going to reach the temple.
Primero vamos a ver. Aquí no lo puedo mojar. O sea, trapo. No. Vale.
There's an old column here, reclaimed by the jungle. These plants are firmly attached. I can't just pull them away.
Vale, jarrón con agua. Bien.
I'll fill it with water. There's some water in the jug.
Tenemos el jarra con agua.
This statue is all that's left to be seen of the temple. The rest disappeared underwater when the lagoon formed.
Esto es para tirarnos debajo del agua. Allá hay un poco más. Vale, esto no lo
There's an old...
podemos. Vale, pues.
They definitely burn well. But I don't really need a torch right now.
No vamos al sendero. Vamos a la aldea. Ah, mira. El pantano de esto. A ver, a ver, a ver. ¿Para qué queremos la jarra con agua? Ahora lo averiguaremos. Para quitar la hoguera de... Aquí no hay nada, ¿no? El avión, la parra y esto.
Let's get up there and take a look.
Ah, mira, pues sí se puede subir ahora. Vale. Ahora sí podemos subir.
The cockpit's ruined, but there's a glove compartment here that looks relatively intact. This wreck's old. The jungle's begun eating into it. There's a cardboard box in relatively good condition in the glove compartment, but everything else is foobar.
Una caja de cartón.
Let's see what's in this box. Looks like an old radio. A radio with a hand-operated generator.
You produce power by turning this little crank on the side. Oh, it fell off. The little crank fell out of the hexagonal shaft in the radio. If I need to use the old thing, I can always stick it back together.
Puede ser que lo pongamos debajo del agua para hacer electricidad.
An empty cardboard box. The water's softened the cardboard.
Ha ablandado el cartón.
I softened the cardboard.
El cartón
in
con
water.
agua. Vale. Yo creo que esto es para el agua, ¿eh? Lo que no sé es esto. Vamos a bajar.
To what end again?
¿No tenemos agua? Ah, no, usamos el cartón. A ver esto. No. Tampoco las manchas de sangre. Tenía que... Ah, mujer. No. Yo pensaba que era para esto, tío, pero entonces aquí no hay más nada. Ah, la cabaña no hay
The
nadie.
old man walked to the neighbouring village to tell them I saved the day and they can come home. I bet he spins a good yarn. I'll be a 6'5" Adonis by the time he's done. Not that I'm a million miles off that already.
Esta es la laguna. El pantano, el avión. Y la aldea. Vale. Vamos a ver aquí.
A hand-operated generator provides the necessary power for the... As
Si nos
long as there's an
tiramos-
animal down there with more teeth than brain cells, I'm staying on dry land. Using their ampullae of Lorenzini, sharks can sense bioelectrical fields at close proximity, such as those produced by muscle movements. What? I can read, you know. Sharks can measure variations in voltage to 1,000th microvolts.
Es verdad, eso tiene razón. Yo lo he
Maybe
leído.
I can take advantage of that. But I don't think just chucking the radio in is going to help me. I don't need to use it at the moment. Besides, my gut tells me this thing may not be up to modern electrical safety regulations. As long as there's an animal down
Vale, no puedo. Hay algo que no estoy viendo. Cuerda por aquí, nada. ¿Y por aquí sí?
As long as there's an animal.
Ah, no, no sido lo mismo. Vale, me falta algo. Falta algo. ¿Qué?
A hand-operated generator provides the necessary power for the radio. I don't need to use it at the moment. Besides, my gut tells me this thing may...
Vale, no puedo usar ahora mismo. Vale. Vamos a ver si podemos
To what
derretir
end
esto.
again?
No, no podemos derretir esto. Esto tampoco. Pues... Estoy intentando...
There's a good fire burning now.
Una buena hoguera, pero quería apagarla, pero no me deja, tío. Esto tampoco porque es para ese fuego. La sangre tampoco. Vamos a ver. Tiene que haber algo en el avión. A ver cómo lo hago. No, no lo he visto bien. Aquí la mínima cosa se te pasa y tienes que estar mirando a ver qué es lo que pasa. A ver, ya subí, porque si no tardamos en... Mira la tapa, tío. ¿Ves?
The cover for the electrics.
Hay que volver más veces que...
The cover is attached with 4 hexagonal nuts. I need something to unscrew them.
¿Algo para atornillarlas? ¿Manivela? Sí,
Wow, blind luck.
la manivela,
The
tío.
radio crank fits right into the bolts on the cover. Ah, there's an electrics cable under here. Might come in handy.
A ver...
A long power cable from the crashed plane.
Vale, pues aquí.
I'll connect one end of the cable to the contacts on the radio. I connected the power cable to the contacts on the radio.
Vale, ahora se supone que sí, ¿no?
I don't need to use it at the moment. Besides, my gut tells me this thing may not be up to...
Vale, puede ser que ahora sí. Voy a bajar, chicos. Y vamos a ir a donde está el tiburón, a ver si ahora sí me funciona. Vale, vamos a ver si ahora tiramos esto.
The radio can be charged electrically, and that charge could then be conducted down the cable. Sharks, I'm sure, are sensitive beings at heart. Even a small shock should be enough for him to turn tail. Of course, he's right on the lagoon bed. I need him to be right on top of the cable for it to work. I need something to lure him to the surface.
Algo para que salga a la superficie.
I don't need to use it at the moment.
Vale, esto después, ¿no? Algo para que salga a la superficie, chicos.
I'll fill it with water.
Vale, lo llenamos de agua. Y ahora que está lleno de agua lo tiraremos en la hoguera. No sé si ahí cogeremos algo que nos haga que salga el chico por aquí, a ver.
I don't need hot water right now.
Agua caliente no. Ah, ¿el trapo? No. Hostia. No es agua caliente, era echar el agua aquí, pero bueno. Entonces no entiendo para qué quiere el agua. Ah, en la sangre, para que la sangre se disuelva, ¿no? Que se ponga
This should
líquida.
moisten the blood stain.
Y con la sangre tenemos el paño, ¿no? Mojado. Y con esto el tiburón sale de la
I've
sangre.
soaked the cloth in the blood.
Exacto, ahora sí.
There are certain things I like carrying around with me. Matches, booze, women. Old, muddy, blood-stained rags are not one of those things.
Vamos a ver si ahora el tiburón sale a la superficie. Le damos con la manivela.
Sharks are attracted to the smell of blood. But what good will that do?
¿Cómo cree que serviría? ¿Qué coño?
As long as there's an animal,
¿Cómo que? No entiendo nada.
I'll knot the blood-stained rag onto the loose end of the cable.
Vale, a ver ahora.
I connected the power cable to the contacts on the radio.
Vamos a ver ahora.
The radio can be charged electrically, and that charge could then be conducted down the cable. Sharks, I'm sure, are sensitive beings, and of course, he's right on the lagoon bed. I'll need him to be, hopefully, the smell of blood will...
Vale, ya me está subiendo, subiendo, subiendo.
It's working. The shark's surfaced, and he's circling the bait. I need to hurry before he pulls the whole thing under. Wow! 40
40
volts
voltios.
straight to the face.
Vale, se fue.
Fenton Paddock, top of the food chain. Time to get down there and check out this temple.
Si te das prisa, chaval, te vas a morir, ¿sabes?
It's a huge gate with a recess in the center.
Vale, el ojo del dragón. ¿No?
The recess isn't very big. I can reach all the way in. There seems to be some kind of mechanism back here.
Vale, ¿y qué mecanismo, loco? Hostia, salsa, arriba. Va, se va a morir. ¡Corre!
I have my strengths, but breathing underwater isn't one of them.
Tendremos algo que aguantar debajo del agua, algo así.
I'll fill it with water.
Vale, llenar de agua no, pero bueno. Nos falta un mecanismo. Vale, me falta estas plantas. Y esas son gruesas y no puedo con ellas.
These plants are firmly attached. I can't just pull them away.
No puedo arrancarlas de un tirón. Vamos a tirarnos más y a ver si hay más cosas que coger abajo o algo, porque ya lo vi.
The temple looks more or less intact from the outside. Maybe it's in good condition inside as well. Who knows?
Me voy a bajar hasta el suelo, a ver. En lo que llega ya me muero ya. No es que me muera, sino que tengo que subir a la superficie.
Weed, mud, clay. Yes, it's a lake bed. I'll collect some mud. I'm running out of air.
Vale, nos vamos para arriba. Y vamos a ver lo que lo hacemos con esto. No sé si hay que calentarlo, por eso no hay que apagar la
Wet, muddy clay from the lagoon bed.
arcilla pegajosa. Vale. Arcilla pegajosa. Vale, no sé para qué, pero yo voy a ver si esto se puede poner aquí.
I could heat the clay, but it's not much use in the bottom of this jug. Wet, muddy clay from the lagoon bed.
Vale, pues... Arcilla pegajosa. Yo creo que aquí no hay nada para arcilla pegajosa. Las plantas tampoco. Vamos a ver qué hay más, chicos. A ver. Barra metálica. Vale, corre, 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 corre.
This metal rod has a sharp edge. Given how long it's been in the water, it's remarkably rust-free.
Vale. Bueno,
The temple looks more or less intact from the outside. Maybe it's in good condition inside as well. Who knows? I'm running out of air.
venga, para arriba de nuevo. Vale, chicos, hemos llegado aquí y con la barra metálica tenemos que cortar la barra.
I severed the vine. It's dripping some kind of oily sap.
Sabe.
Men can moisturize too, you know.
Eh,
I'll soak the reeds with some of the sap. The reeds absorb the sap.
vale.
My hands are already soft and smooth. I am a new man, but I don't want to overdo it with cosmetics.
Pues ya está, ¿no? Esto lo pondremos ahí, no sé si es para... Vamos a ver para qué es. Vamos a averiguar. Aquí no es. Obviamente aquí dice que no. La barra tampoco. Y esto tampoco.
I
Porque...
could heat the clay, but it...
Vamos a ver si nos falta lo de las cuerdas de estas aquí. Aquí no me pasa nada. Venga, aquí, la barra.
There. I've managed to cut away the plants with the sharp edge of the pole. There's a small carving here. It's carved into the stone. There's not much I can do with it. I'm only going to smash it if I keep doing this.
Vale, romperlo.
If it's good for my skin, it can't do any harm to an old rock. I'll oil it up. I've coated the carving with the plant oil. I've oiled up the carving. Not much else I can do.
Mucho más. Tampoco.
Perfect. This should make for a good mold. The damp cardboard.
El
will
molde
dry
para
around the
ponerlo abajo,
carving,
¿no?
And the plant oil should let me get it off again in one piece. The cardboard's dried in the heat. If I just remove it
Le
carefully...
tenemos una marca, ¿no?
Yes, a beautiful cardboard mold. The cardboard's dried out and molded into shape.
Ahora ponemos esto aquí.
I filled the
Para
cardboard
poner el
mold
molde.
with clay. I filled the cardboard mold with clay.
Ahora es el calor, ¿no? Puede ser. En el fuego me lo pongo, no sé. Sí, venga.
Let's hope it's hot enough to fire the clay.
$45 minutos más tarde, y pues qué tal.
That should do it. The cardboard's burned away, and the clay looks pretty solid. Got it.
Aquí tenemos el molde.
It's an exact copy of the shape on the statue by the temple.
Pues ahora nos vamos, ¿no? Ahora sí que nos vamos, chicos. Al fondo del mar. Venga, baja.
It fits. We're in business. How has no water reached this part of the temple? It smells old and dank, but at least I can breathe.
Qué guapo el templo, ¿no?
It's so well preserved. The painting seems to portray a scene Professor Hayes told me about.
En la
It's a
cueva,
group
sí.
of herdsmen or hunters entering a large cave in the mountains. These are the people who discovered the entrance to Shambhala many thousands of years ago. There's a round stone jutting out of the wall here. I'll grab it. A round stone.
Una piedra redonda.
It's a magnificent city with some kind of glowing orb in the center. This must be Shambhala, the light at the
Shambhala.
center. That must be the source of these morphogenetic fields. It's the world's soul. Here's another stone.
Son redondas todas. Sí, parece que sí.
The same characters as the monastery in Tibet. This is definitely the right place. These glass windows must be thick as hell to withstand the water pressure, but this place was supposed to have been built over 10,000 years ago. They should barely have had two sticks to rub together. Christ. All these stories and legends. They're all beginning to feel very real.
Es verdad, ¿eh? Aquí hay otra piedra.
The painting up there has a number of people reaching the shores of a sea or a river by boat. These must be the Shambhala survivors. The ones who came here to hide the second key. That
Aquí arriba,
can't
¿eh?
be. That looks like a British Army uniform. But this place was supposed to have been built millennia
Un
ago.
uniforme británico.
The same characters as the monastery. The painting shows burning houses. And many,
Sí,
many
aquí.
dead people. They're fighting one another on a huge mountain of corpses. But they don't look like warriors. They're just townsfolk, murdering one another. Is this the fall of Shambhala? The inexplicable catastrophe that Professor Hayes mentioned, but he said it was a dragon, and Kim translated something similar back at the monastery. These people are killing each other. But why?
¿Por qué? ¿Por qué?
And another stone.
Tenemos tres piedras.
A round stone. A round stone with some sort of decoration on it. A round stone. There's a plinth in the middle of the room. Okay, we've got 6 circular recesses arranged around a symbol. This must be where the artifact was stored all that time ago. I'd better take a closer look. A circular recess. A circular recess. A circular recess.
Son todos circulares, ¿verdad?
A circular recess. A circular recess.
Entonces...
It looks like something needs to be inserted. There's a small slab in the middle of the plinth with a
Esto es para
symbol on
apretar,
it.
¿no? Y se ilumine todo. Pero voy a ver un momento. Aquí no podemos hacer nada aquí. Aquí hay otra, que no la veía, chicos. Y aquí hay otra. Vale, vale, ya la encontré. Y aquí hay otra. Vale, vale, vale. Una redonda, otra también aquí. Estaba en el piso que no las veía. Y otra en el fondo. Ah, aquí. Vale, vamos a ver si ahora funciona. Son todas las piedras. Vamos a poner las bolitas. A ver. Una. Claro, pero esto tendrá truco seguro. ¿Ves? Por la forma. Segurito, chicos. No creo que sea el tuntún.
I heard something move inside.
Hostia,
Is
pues
it
sí.
unlocked? I can't move it.
El que se movió. Se movió algo, ¿el qué?
The painting shows burning houses. And many dead people. They're
Vale, mira,
fighting
los
one
cuadros son
another
así.
on a
Vale, vale,
huge
mira.
mountain
Este
of corpses. But they don't look like warriors. They're
tiene esta
just
forma. ¿Son diferentes
townsfolk
o qué?
murdering one another.
1, 2,
Is this
3.
the
No.
fall of Shambhala? The inexplicable catastrophe that Professor Hayes mentioned, but he said it was a dragon, and Kim translated something similar back at the monastery.
No estoy yo no, pero se ha movido algo, dijo.
The same characters as the monastery in Tibet.
Vale, es que aquí hay símbolos, pero no sé si te los de arriba o los de abajo. ¿Cómo será esto? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 y 6. Son 6. Estos dos son iguales, así que estos no valen. Este es diferente, este también es diferente. Este es diferente y este también. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, estos son iguales. 1, 2, 3, 4. Y me faltan... No sé, a ver, a ver, a ver. Vamos a ver esto un momento, a ver.
Ah, the stones can be pushed down into the platform.
Ah, que cada uno tiene su forma, chicos. No me acordaba, ¿no? No, son diferentes las formas, ¿no? Se van cambiando. Ah, vale, claro, mira, ¿ves? Se van intercambiando. Esta redonda y esta es esta. Sí, no sé. Los símbolos son diferentes. Cuadrado. Ahora, vale, eran enmendándolas para abajo. Yo pensé que había que cambiarle de curso, no, había que prenderles para abajo.
That must be the artifact.
La llave que abre el portal
The
de
key to
Shambhala.
the gates of Shambhala. Finally, the second key. I traveled 3 continents just to find this thing. I should be happy. Or at least relieved. There's something bothering me. Something at the back of my mind. I'm finally holding in my hands the key to Shambhala. The key to rescuing Richard. And I've got this weird feeling about it all. Is that my conscience? Damn, I thought I lost the thing years ago. Maybe all this wasn't such a good idea. How many people have already died for this thing? And how many more will die if I open the gate to Shambhala? Beyond all the myths and the legends, there has to be something real at the end of it all. There is something behind that gate that shouldn't be messed with. I don't know. Maybe it's this place, or maybe I'm just tired, but I can't help but think back to Hong Kong Harbour. I made a split-second decision to save Richard, and it was the wrong one. I won't make the same mistake again. I don't have the luxury of special circumstances as an excuse this time, and this time, there's a lot more at stake. Kim said you can't weigh one life against another. Last time, my mistake cost 8 lives. This time, it could be thousands. I've got to accept the reality. I can't go back to Tibet. I have to go back to where it all began. I have to justify the most difficult decision of my entire life.
Hong Kong.
Lord Weston,
Yes?
Mr. Paddock is back.
What? What are you waiting for? Send him in, quickly. Fenton,
Está en Londres, ¿no?
you have no idea how relieved I am to see you.
Lord Weston,
Do you have any news of my son? Is he alive?
I'm afraid it's not that simple, Governor.
Is Richard dead? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
No, he's still alive, I think.
Do you need more money? How can I help you? Just say the word, I'll do everything within my power.
Sir, I know where your son is. I even have the key to the gate that leads to his location. The problem is, I can't be answerable for opening that gate.
And what is that supposed to mean?
Richard is in a place in the Himalayas called Shambhala. For some reason, he fled there when his unit was attacked by Nazi troops. Maybe it was the only way he could prevent the Nazis from entering Shambhala. The point is, that place holds a secret so vital, it cannot be permitted to fall into the wrong hands at any cost. This is what I've come to realize. The second key could undo everything Richard has worked for. If I reopen the gate in order to follow him, I'd risk letting the Nazis into Shambhala. Lord Weston, we have to destroy the second portal key. I'm sorry, but the dangers it represents are simply too great.
What do you say? You suggest that we leave my son, your friend, to his fate?
Lord Weston, you know what Richard means to me. You know what I've sacrificed for him. Believe me, if there were any other way, I would take it. I know it's hard to accept, but after everything I've seen and experienced, I just can't continue with this mission. I'm here today to ask for your understanding.
I'm hearing this. You sentenced my son to death, and you come here asking for absolution. I was wrong about you, Paddock. If you are unable to handle the situation, I shall have to find someone who is.
As I said, I'm very sorry, Lord Weston, but I've made my decision. I'm going to destroy the key.
I'm afraid that decision is no longer in your hands.
What is this? You're collaborating with the Nazis, Governor!
I had no choice, Fenton. Mr. Kleist claimed to know where Richard was. He said he could return him to me. I was skeptical, but a father will cling to even the slightest shred of hope. I never gave up hope that you would solve the situation, and that I could quickly end my collaboration with the Nazis. But now I realize that I backed the wrong horse.
Governor, this is a mistake.
I'm prepared to take that risk.
Paddock, I wonder if you would be so kind as to accompany me to the airport. You have an appointment in Tibet that you absolutely cannot miss.
Madre mía.
We meet again, Mr. Paddock.
It's a dubious pleasure, Countess. But I guess you've become rather accustomed to having me around.
Had I been given the choice, you would be lying in your wretched Hong Kong shack with a hole between your eyes, believe me. I console myself knowing this will be the last time your good fortune keeps you alive. I hardly imagine you are aware of the fact, but you must at least have felt the transfer of energy when you have the second artifact in your hands, yes? Paddock, you have connected with the key. You are now the only person capable of using it.
You mean you can't get into Shambhala without little old me?
Precisely.
And you think I'm going to help you?
But of course, there can be no doubt.
I hate to break it to you, love, but if I really am your last option, you're rather scraping the bottom of the barrel. Your expedition ends here.
Tut, tut, Mr. Paddock. You are always so hasty to judge before knowing all the facts. I am well aware of the lengths you would go to keep Shambhala from us. You would merely abandon your greatest friend for that very reason. But I wonder, would you so
Hostia, Kim,
condemn to
tío.
death your pretty little accomplice?
Kim?
You would merely abandon your greatest friend for that very reason. But I wonder, would you so capriciously condemn to death your pretty little accomplice? Oh, please don't look so dejected. At least you have one less life on your conscience. Oh, if you cooperate, that is. Please don't make me describe to you what will happen to your girlfriend should you fail to comply. I think you have the imagination to make the right decision.
Kim, are you okay?
Just about. Well,
Okay. Let her go and I'll do whatever you want.
I would dearly love to grant you this wish, but alas, it may be that your friend can make herself useful on the other side of the portal. No, she stays with us, but she gets to live a little longer.
Fine. What do you want me to do?
Place the second key in the recess on the pedestal. We will talk some more in Shambhala.
Fenton, wake up!
What?
Fenton!
What? Richard? Richard, is that you?
Of course it's me. Are you feeling okay?
You... Why do you look like a ghost?
Oh, charming. You came all this way just to tell me I've seen better days.
I don't understand. My head hurts.
Apparently your sense of humor is still en route. Well, what is there to say but... Welcome to Shambhala. It was good to see Wang's niece again, but I would have preferred it if you'd left the Nazis on the other side.
Kim? Where is she?
She landed in the central cavern along with the Countess. I managed to convince the guardians of this place to separate you and bring you here instead.
Guardians? You mean there are still people here?
No, not in present-day Shambhala. Just you, Kim, and a few dozen Nazis.
So, what the hell are you talking about then? And what happened to you? Why are you all... flaky?
Ah, well, that's the story, isn't it? When I used the original key back in the monastery, it transported me to Shambhala, but the Shambhala of the past. It seems when the key was constructed thousands of years ago, the monks who stayed in the Kembalung Valley to guard it planned to use it to return here someday. I don't begin to understand how any of this works, but believe me when I say that this place holds extraordinary power.
So I've read. Something about morphogenetic fields.
Providing it a name implies an explanation for something inexplicable, but yes, if you like, morphogenetic fields. The high priests described Shambhala as the heart of the world, but in truth, it's more like the soul. If you want to see it in a scientific light, I suppose you could say that the energy of this place is what constitutes the life force of every living creature throughout time. Just as every single person has a soul that makes him the person that he is, every species has a soul that makes the species what it is. And the sum of all that resides here, the world soul.
Would you be shocked if I said this was all a little over my head?
I've been here for days and I still don't understand it. I don't believe we'll ever understand this place completely. Just take it as fact. There is an energy here, an imperceptible energy that bonds us all.
How imperceptible exactly?
Well, we are all linked to one another subconsciously. But it's true that certain people are able to detect the fields with more precision than others. We call them mediums or oracles. But the energy fields explain a lot more than that. Think about natural instincts, or phenomena such as mass panic. They're all the result of the ebb and flow of those subconscious links.
Well, it all sounds very grand, but what does it actually mean on a practical level? Are we in danger?
Fenton, imagine the heart of Shambhala as a gigantic archive, a pool of everything people have ever researched, discovered, or developed.
So, that's a yes then.
It is. The entire world converges right here.
And the Countess knows that.
But it's not just that. The center transcends time and space. He who controls it controls the sum of all human knowledge, past, present.
And future. They could conquer the world.
No, that's not the threat. The power of this place is too much for any person to control. Mankind doesn't have the maturity to handle this gift. Even the priests of primeval times failed.
So, this field of energy ended up making the residents of Shambhala kill each other in a civil war.
Correct.
How?
Imagine understanding everything, instantly. The spirit of a person would be subjected to extraordinary strain. They simply couldn't cope. Besides, there are darker forces at work. This archive is not limited to discoveries and inventions. It represents the entirety of the human condition. Jealousy, envy, hate, these define the human species just as much as learning or understanding, and have a corresponding influence here in Shambhala. But, as I said before, it is not something we can easily understand.
Okay, fine. So we just wait for the Countess to open the center. I'll dash in, grab Kim, then we sit back and watch while they all kill each other.
You're absolutely right.
But
In my time, Fenton, the surviving priests are preparing to leave Shambhala for good. In order to protect the heart from misuse, they are performing a ceremony that will set up a force field around it. This field will allow only the bearer of a certain amulet to pass through. After the ceremony, the amulet will be divided into 3 pieces and hidden in the temples of 3 priest castes who once ruled here.
hey, even better. The Nazis won't get past square one.
No, they've begun to plant explosives. The field is maintained in your time by a series of plinths. It would take a great deal of power, but they may be able to destroy them. We have to stop them, Fenton. They may not be able to wield the power of Shambhala, but if the energy of this place is disrupted in any way, it could have catastrophic effects for every living creature on the planet. We must act quickly.
We?
I thought you were stuck in the past.
You're right. But you won't find the 3 amulet pieces without my help. If I understand it correctly, our times are now synchronized. We can communicate, but we cannot cross the boundary. In my time, the priests are only just now performing the ceremony to invoke the force field. So the amulet has not yet been hidden, and I have no way to know where it will be placed. But that doesn't mean to say I can't help you look for it.
And what am I supposed to do with the thing when I find it?
You will have to use the power of the source to drive off the Nazis.
As in the source that sends anyone who goes anywhere near it do lally. That source. Is there a plan B?
Don't worry. Once you find the dragon amulet, I will help you control it.
Okay, let's do it.
I couldn't agree more. The future of the world is in our hands.
El corazón del mundo.
Looks like I'm on my own again. I'm still not sure I've got a handle on all this. 10,000 years ago, the residents of Shambhala all kill each other, save for a few priests who escaped the Civil War. Shortly after that, Richard crash lands here and convinces those priests to invoke a force field around the centre to protect it. Now the Countess, along with her troops, and Kim, are in the centre of Shambhala, ready to blow the bloody thing up. And, surprise, surprise, I'm the only one that can stop them. I need 3 pieces of some amulet to harness the power of the source and somehow make everything okay again. That's Richard's plan, in any case. I'll probably just wander around breaking things until something interesting happens.
Bueno, chicos, pues interesante esta aventura de Shambhala. Y aquí vemos que en el próximo capítulo podemos intercambiarnos con Fenton y con el Richard. Así que, pero eso será en el próximo capítulo, obviamente. Y vamos a guardar por aquí, porque ya no quiero que se haga tan largo el vídeo. Es verdad que los diálogos son un poco largos, pero así entendemos un poquito la historia. Así que nada, chicos, espero que les haya gustado, que hayan pasado esta aventura de ratito conmigo bastante bien. Compartir el vídeo, darle a me gusta. Nos vemos prontito en el próximo episodio de Los Horizon. Nos vemos. Chaito.